Welcome, Storyhive On-Location Victoria. We're coming to you live from House of Owl, Victoria's creation lab and creation club, located on the unceded and ancestral territories of the Lekwungen-speaking peoples. So deep bow, deep respect, and deep love to the original caretakers of these lands. I'm Jordan Dack, poet, songwriter, producer, all-around creative troublemaker, and your host on this creative deep dive into the creative process. I'm sitting here with a true artist. And most true artists that I know have their art creep into all elements of their life. Now, my friend here, Jam, his art is of a specific variety that brings as much power as it does peace with it. And I'm so excited to sit with him today and dive into his creative process. Jam is a community worker, an educator, and a writer, and we're going to get to know more about him now. Well, welcome, my friend.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm very excited to be here today.
It is absolutely my pleasure.
Yeah.
Now, to kick things off, what we're going to do is play a little game where I'm going to read some statements. Okay? Some of them are true, some of them are false, some of them are sort of true, and some of them are sort of false.
Okay, as an educator, my job is to guess these.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Correct them. Take out your red pen.
Yeah. Just let's go through. So.
That's right. Yeah. So just let us know what's true, let us know what's false, and if you want to add some context, some color to it, go for it. All right. Here we go. True or false? Jam started writing the material that became Minutes of Years Past 20 years ago while traveling in Kolkata.
Yes, true.
True.
Wow, that's a good question.
20 years ago.
Yeah, that's a deep dive.
Yeah. So we'll start right from the dive. Okay.
Yeah.
And we will continue to dive in that direction.
Yeah, that's a Narwhal level question right there. Right. I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, we go beyond.
Yeah.
Okay, true or false? Jam holds a BA in Justice Studies from Royal Roads University.
That's true.
Okay. How about this one? It's funny, I just read the true one that completely gives away this one, but true or false? Minutes of Years Past was written start to finish in a single year.
That is false.
That is false. We heard it's 20 years.
It is
20 years in the making.
20 years in the making.
Okay, how about this one? True or false? Jam has described himself professionally as an educator, community worker, and lover of tacos.
That is true. I love tacos.
You love tacos?
It's one of my favorite things to eat. One of the things to make with people, community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's the best taco that you've ever had in the world?
Oh, I do not share the best. That's something that gets but I do share like my faves. I think, it's hard to say, but I think Taco Fino in Tofino is amazing. It's just this long truck by a garbage dump that you neatly have to find a hidden gem, and when you're in the forest of Tofino, it just tastes better.
It just hits right.
Yeah, and it tastes better on the beach.
That's great news.
Yeah, their yam. I think it's their yam fried tacos.
And this really says something because, as you may already know and will know, Jam is a very well-traveled individual. So to say that one of his favorite tacos is from Tofino really says something.
Yeah.
Okay, true or false, my friend? Jam wrote the book as a work of pure fiction with no connection to his own life.
No, that's definitely false. This is a memoir. Yeah. I can't even write this about someone else because they won't even believe this person exists.
Yeah, exactly. It's so strange it has to be true.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's dive in.
Yeah.
And I think that we should start, if it's okay with you, right from that first moment when you started writing this book, or are we calling it a book, or is it a collection?
I would say a collection of stories. I think the colonial term for it would be a memoir.
Okay.
But it's a collection of stories that just happened to me, that my life revolved around, and I didn't mean for it to come onto paper in this format or be presented on this format. Yeah. So it was just kind of exciting.
Do you remember when the first story, not when the first story happened to you, because I know part of this, the memoir approach is you're living the story, but do you remember the first time that the ink met paper and became part of the series?
Yeah, I remember when that happened. I was writing in my journal in Calcutta, and it was just a really traumatic day. And I wrote a story, and that story, I couldn't believe that the paper still existed after, because as I was writing, I was just crying. Right. It was just tears coming out, and everything was just falling on the paper, snot to everything you can imagine. And I just wrote out this story in 15 minutes, less than that, and I was going, I need to share this with someone so that someone doesn't go through the same thing that I did. If I can help spare someone, this, and who could I help spare but also give insight into me, would be someone that I know. So I was writing it for someone, and that's when I knew that it had to be had to be bigger than just myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're just going to, I just want to make sure your mic, it's looking like it's falling into it.
I'm a very active person when I talk. So.
That is a lot. So this will.
Okay, well, there we go.
Yeah, let's give that a shot.
Okay.
That should be okay.
Okay.
Now, I was speaking with Kieran Regier the other day, poet laureate.
Yeah.
She was my last guest on the show.
Yeah.
And she brought up this great point where art, and in her case writing, although it is such a personal craft, it's to complete its process, it must be shared. And
oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of heard that in what you just shared, that even as you were writing it, it felt like a really tough day and a personally trying one, but there was a part of you that knew that it needed to be shared as well. Is that true?
Yeah, I felt like it needed to be shared. I mean, I wrote that story for myself, and as I was writing it, I realized that it was going to be for my son. Wow. Like I realized that this was going to be a story for them to be able to understand a little bit about me, into the future. And so I didn't want the past to kind of repeat itself. I found myself at a dead's end. Yeah. And I thought, wow, if this can be shared, and then as I was compiling them and taking the pages that I wanted to write out, I realized that they became something that not just for my son or future son would become something for other people in the family. So something that became really personal became something for just family. And then as I started sharing it with friends, they said to me, I would love to hear more about this. And so it's just sort of evolved into that. But how do you keep the art and the pure form of it? Yeah, I'm not going to cry for 15 minutes in each page as I write each story.
So. I mean, what were you doing in Kolkata?
So I was working at a hospice for the dying, the student dying. I mean, I went out to Calcutta to find my identity. I knew my family was from India, but we had no idea where we were from in India. And so on a whim, I bought a ticket to India. I didn't even know. I stopped over to see some friends in England. Didn't even know I needed a visa for India. They were there and they're like, "Oh, you have everything in your visa." I was like, "Visa?
What is this visa you speak of?"
What's this issue? And I had like a whole day to get a visa, so I literally had a day. And I showed up at the consulate, and they were like, "Oh, you must work with your glasses. You must work in film. Here, get your visa." And they charged me an arm and leg for it. And I flew to India, not knowing where to go, what trains to take, where to go, what to do, and it took a journey from Delhi to get to Calcutta. And when I showed up, I had no idea what I was supposed to be doing, and I ended up spending, I think it was 2.5 months there.
No kidding.
The first time that I went. And I lived in I think a $1.50 room. Eating bananas, walking the streets. And I really got to understand a lot about Calcutta. And it was incredible. The first time I went to the Howrah Bridge and went to the Ganga area, I just sat there and started crying.
Wow.
I bought flowers, these orange flowers, and I put them out into the water, and I felt like a connection to the area. Going, I think my family has done this.
Wow. And is that where the tears were coming from?
The tears are coming from a hard day when I was working with a deaf student dying, and there was an incident that reminded me. Someone passed away while I was there, and there was an incident that just reminded me of my family. And being alone there, rainy season, Kolkata, the heat, I just sort of went, wow, there is no one to talk to about this. There is no device, people, algorithm, anything. This was over 20 years ago. Yeah. And who do I talk to talk about this in a place where not a lot of people spoke English and I didn't speak Hindi.
Yeah, right.
So trying to find my belongings, so I put it all to paper.
Yeah. And that was the place that it ended up. And were you, did you find that, I mean, it sounds like the writing probably helped you process what you were feeling.
It did, yeah.
Did it also, once you started writing, did it start affecting how you showed up in India as well?
Yeah, it really did, because I felt like going back and being able to read it was important, and it's something that I did all the time. And being there for 2.5 months, I'd go back and read my journal as I opened up the spaces. So I felt like, oh my gosh, am I going to be better today?
Right.
Because I still wanted to show up and volunteer. I still wanted to go out and meet people.
Yeah.
And there's days that I would, stick myself in that $1.50 room with that small fan that I could barely stand up in, and just sort of cry it out.
Yeah.
So having that outlet was really important.
Yeah. Do you think that, could you read something? Could you share a story?
Sure, I could share a story.
Time for you?
Yeah, I'll share a story from the same journey.
I was hoping you'd say that. That's right.
And this is my story about. It's called Swimming with Ancestors.
Okay.
Yeah. The air is still, and the cloudy sky matches the color of the Gangas. I see Varanasi steps and hear her chant from here. I nod to Maji, a traditional boat driver I hired, as he paddles the wooden vessel across the river to an island. Every bone in my body is against what I'm going to do. Swim in the Ganga. I heard horror stories of people getting sick. It is reportedly the most polluted river in the world. Yet I know that my ancestors have done this. I want to reconnect with them, understand my purpose, my steps forward in life. Swimming is one of those steps. I get out and Maji nods. This is really my bad Hindi. Our communication is through hand motions and broken Hindi. Panch minute, 5 minutes. I start taking off my clothes. The driver shakes his head. No, no, no. And his hands show a swimming motion. I don't pay attention and strip down. With just my lungi on, I put my foot in the river and take a few steps in and realize that I'm stepping on a bone of some sort. My toes wiggling on it. Oh God, this isn't good. I look at the water. It's dirty. I don't want to do this. I turn around to go back. Maji frowns and waves me back. Well, I guess I came this far, all or nothing. I turn around, drop the lungi, and walk in naked. I dive in for a swim, eyes open. The water looks murky. A minute later, I stand up, and for some inexplicable reason, I feel refreshed. I feel born again. I walk back feeling like a new person. I grab my lungi to dry off. Maji nods with approval. As we head back, I start to feel strange. A change, a rebirth, like my skin is shed and a new one is growing. Basking in the wind, the bliss of it all, I notice a smell. It's putrid. I want to throw up. It smells like poo, like crap. I look at Maji. I cover my nose with my lungi only to sniff my skin. Oh my God, it's me. Oh my Buddha, I smell like poo, like crap. Oh, it's the river. Oh, this is wild. I can't believe I swam in this. As the boat approaches the steps, the ego quickly sets in. I'm a badass. Few would ever attempt to do this. What an epic story. As if on cue, I look at Maggie, smiling from ear to ear as he cups his hand to the water and starts to drink it. Never mind.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. This story also happened on my first time that I was there.
No kidding.
Yeah, in India. So.
Now you mentioned in this story that you almost didn't go into the water.
Yeah.
And probably there was a very great chance that you could have turned around and never have gone in, and this would be a different story, or maybe not a story at all.
Yeah, I don't know how. It was something that I really wanted to do, to connect. I felt like my family has done this, and it was important for me. And how far I went into the water, though, was a big difference.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
The difference of putting my feet in, washing my face, or going in for a deep swim. Yeah. And I was told that the other side of the river would be the cleanest.
Oh, really?
So that's why I heard the boat to go away and also be away from the noise of the people.
That's right.
And I wasn't planning to swim naked. I wasn't planning to have my eyes open.
Yeah.
I heard stories about people going to the hospital for being sick.
Now, nobody would have blamed you for turning around and walking away. Has there ever been times during this process, over the last 20 years, of writing these stories and offering your truth to the page and your thoughtful looking to the page, that you've thought about just abandoning the page as well and walking away?
Like from writing the story?
From writing, yeah.
I mean, like I said, that story was in a way written and shared because I want people to understand that I'm searching for the past, for a connection. And I'm doing it through this weird thing.
Right.
By going in this river that has meaning to my family and heritage. But at the same time, if I didn't go into it, how would I find this out? Yeah. There was no way for me to know.
Yeah, that's right.
So I thought by doing this and by coming out, I felt a blood memory. I felt something that connected me to the area and to the people. And it was weird because I took my mom to Kolkata, to Varanasi, 3 or 4 years later. And when she went there, she sat there and she goes, "Now I understand my grandmother."
Really?
And she started to cry by that water. And for me, that was really powerful. And if I didn't have that connection, it wouldn't have been able to bring my mom there many years later and say, "We're going to Varanasi. You need to come here. There's something special about this place and what this means for us." So I'm glad that I did, and I really wanted to share that.
Yeah, and do you think that, many people would have had these experiences in India and then maybe have written a series of stories just about that trip. But it seems the approach you've taken is that you're adding different moments of your life from different experiences, different adventures around the world.
Yeah.
Was that a conscious decision, or?
I think, the book, the memoir is called Minutes of Years Past. And it's to give you a snippet into just a brief moment, a glimpse of what a day was like, or a minute or a moment throughout a span of a time. Yeah. And it's going to be really interesting because it's about those gaps in those moments. And you'll see a progression of myself over 20 years, over 30 years. Yeah, in that time. And you'll get to build your own picture.
It sounds like a story or a collection that could also never end, how will it end? How will you know that it's complete?
It's a good question. I don't think stories like that ever get complete, but it's only what's available.
That's right. Yeah.
I still think the song continues on. Yeah. Sometimes I read a book that I love so much that I don't finish the last 10 pages.
Is that right?
Yeah. And there's lots of great books that happen, or a song that I like, or a movie or a film, and I just won't finish it because for me, the story still continues. Wow. And I love that fact that I can make up those characters.
Yes.
And I can do that. A good example is for me reading Ministry of the Future. What a great book.
Okay.
And as the book is ending,
yeah,
they've gone through so much. The character is on this, you could tell there's last like 20 pages left. She gets on this ship and she goes off, and I'm like, I don't want that ship to crash. You know, I'm okay. She's the main character of this whole story. The book whole synopsis of the book is done.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna let it live on.
Yeah.
You know, and same thing with Steve Jobs' biography. And I was like 2 pages left, and I was like, no, this story's gonna live on.
Yeah. Okay.
This person is living on in our day-to-day devices and in our day-to-day life.
So, do you hope others will read your story in the same way?
I hope so too, yeah. And what can you take out of it?
Yeah.
You know, I see this as hope.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to, the way I'm writing these stories has a colonial ending to it,
Okay.
and a structure and a format to it.
Yeah.
But it can live on in your imagination. It can live on in other spaces. It can be transferred or told to other people in a different language, a different format. It could be sung. It could be never ending.
Yeah.
I could still be having dips in the Varanasi River every year.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
So then, in the the colonial sense, is it done now? Like, have you finished adding all the stories you're going to add to it?
I've written 100 stories.
You have.
Yeah, and because I'm going with the theme of minutes of years past, I'm trying to pare it down to 60 stories.
60 stories.
Yeah.
Okay.
All stories. Each story can be read in 2 to 3 minutes.
Gotcha.
Brevity is very important in
Yeah.
this.
Have you ever had a story, a new story that you've written,
take
the place of one that you thought was going to be part of it?
That I haven't gotten to yet.
No.
It's very hard to curate it down. Yeah,
you know?
it's curated down. Yeah, it's interesting because I write stuff and I tend to delete it. I write it as an exercise, and then I've had people walk through the studio, and I'm like, oh, I just written something. Do you want to sit down? And then they've sat down and they said, this is great. I love this story. I was like, what? If you didn't come in the room, it would have been
gone.
It would have been gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I find it fascinating how these stories stay on.
Why is it important to you that they can be read in 2 to 3 minutes?
I think with the way how stories are being told, the way how we consume stories, and the way how we share them, I really wanted that elevator pitch moment, that way how, I mean, the best way to describe it. This is challenging without saying TikTok, but I'm going to say TikTok. You know, you get these TikTok of the stories.
Yeah.
You get these microseconds, but you also meet people for short periods of time, and you would share a story and then move on, or say, hey, what did you think about this?
That's so true.
I want this story to be like shared in that moment with someone.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. Like you could easily share one of these stories at this length with someone you just met in a passing conversation.
Exactly.
And have a disproportionate impact on that person.
Exactly.
You know? And that's what I feel my personal experience is of your stories, is that they do have a disproportionate impact compared to the length of the story. They hit way harder.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think I was sharing with you the other day, but it's in some ways it reminds me of Mary Oliver's poetry, where Mary Oliver, for me, her poetry is very conversational and in certain sections. You know, I was out walking in the field all day. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she'll hit you with this line that hits you right in the heart or the stomach or slaps you across the face. And it hits harder because the 3 preceding lines left you feeling so casual.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's what is that intentional when you go, because I imagine the editing process must be pretty intense too. Right?
It's very intense. The stories start off quite long. There's several arcs within them, and several journeys within them, and then you have to dwindle it down to my most impactful stories is 21 lines.
Wow.
Right, and it's, I think, 200 and something, or 400 characters or something. And so to get to that brevity is really important to get to it. It's also at the same time, when you're writing a memoir about myself, I try to remove the ego.
Yeah.
I try to remove the, what part of me is trying to boast or have glamour,
right?
Or that mirror that audience that you want.
Yeah, right.
And I focus on what's really important, what's going to live for generations.
Yeah. Oh, I love that, because probably the line that may have been there during the first quick write of it.
Yeah.
There was one that might have been like represented the ego in some way, and that's probably not the one that's going to give the reader goosebumps. It's probably not the one that's going to shift their perspective or change their day.
Yeah.
And that's a great way of finding the ones to cut too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really challenging. You were in the studio the other day.
Yeah.
You got to hear a story that I just wrote.
Mm-hmm.
It was about a page and a half.
And I didn't want you to lose any of it.
Yeah. And yesterday I boiled it down to also 24 lines.
Is that
right? So half of the story you heard does no longer exist.
And there's, I kind of wish I hadn't heard.
Yeah.
Because I'm mourning for those lines. Now
you're mourning.
Now my grieving process.
Yeah, you were there like, what do you mean you're going to cut this? Yes. And I found it exciting to read over myself. Mm-hmm. I loved it. I can't wait to share that with people. Yeah.
And can you tell me about the process beyond sussing out the ego and letting it go? Mm-hmm. How else do you make those decisions about what stays and what you have to cut?
It's challenging.
Yeah.
It's really, really challenging. I think when you have a story with different arcs and themes within it, for example, the swimming with ancestors, I wanted to keep the generational story in there, link that with how I was feeling, the rebirth, India, as a whole, Varanasi as a whole. When you're cutting things back, you think, what's not important? Mm-hmm. What does, the audience that I'm writing for in 20 years from now, like a future son, what would they want to go through and go, that's why did he put that in there? Mm-hmm. You wanted to find that theme that sifts throughout. Yeah.
And for you, is the editing, well, it sounds like the editing process is also part of the storytelling process.
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually longer than actually writing the story in the first place.
Because I imagine, when you were writing the story in the first place, do you know exactly what the story is going to be about? You must know the event that you're writing about.
Yeah, there's one or two things that I sort of know, and the story kind of evolves from that. It's super challenging because at the end of the day, I'm writing this for myself. Mm-hmm. And so I'm the biggest critic of it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's hard because you're insular in a box. Does your art even translate outside of it? I haven't read stories like myself.
Right.
And so I'm writing them for I don't know who.
Mm-hmm.
Who's gonna enjoy it or not enjoy it. So I'm like, the first person I need to please is myself.
Yeah.
Right. And so, I know that it's hard. It's a hard thing to do.
Yeah. So when you read your stories, do you feel like this is the kind of thing that I would pick up, read, and enjoy?
100%. Yeah. It's the kind of thing that I pick up on a plane. It's the kind of thing that a friend would give me, and I would have at a coffee book table in my morning. Every morning I read a meditation that is just very short, 10 lines, and I spend some time meditating about it. And this is a story that I would do the same thing too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And of course, because they are memoirs and they are of actual events of your travels and adventures, there is definitely a visual element. Do you have any plans to include photos or illustrations or video?
On my recent pilgrimage, I stopped taking photos, and a friend gave me a sketchbook, and I would sketch photos instead. Which I really enjoyed doing that process. I think when I was sitting in Venice and the sunset was coming, and I sketched it out, and I just loved that whole thought of that. And so for each of these, I have a sketch that represents. Some of them were actual pictures that I had from Maggie, as we were in Varanasi in the boats, and I'm sketching that out. And it's really cool. And there was also music that I was listening to that is weirdly, that I find to be really hard to place, because some of it is could be Sufjan Stevens that doesn't flow well with Varanasi.
Right.
But it was what I was listening to at the time as I was doing this.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to see if I'm going to package all three into the same.
That would be interesting.
Into the same medium. Yeah.
Now I have an ongoing conversation with a few artist friends of mine, specifically rappers. Okay, and the ongoing theory for some of them is that the place that you live the story is not the best place to write the story. And so for these individuals, their philosophy was, I need to live in the city. And that's when I build up the juices, and then I go off somewhere peaceful, and that's when I squeeze the lemon and the juice comes out, and that's great. Do you find that's also the case? Do you, especially in a place like Victoria, which is very different compared to many of the places that you've traveled and where many of these stories originated, do you find it's easier or harder to write in certain locations?
I find it easier to edit my stories here.
Okay.
I'm accustomed to writing my stories in my journal, back of notes, places. But being here in Victoria, it's just it feels natural to edit down and par down. And I think it's probably the walks, the beauty, the fact that I spent a lot of time in nature, walking and thinking about it after. I have that space away from people to do that and to really think, to digest it and really think about it. Now, I think sometimes it could be too dangerous to be alone and digest something. So you need to surround yourself with community. But it's been really good,
Are any of your stories written about a time in Victoria while living in Victoria?
I do, yeah. I have a story from the time of COVID, I call it the plague. Where it was really formidable time for everyone, and how I used that time for thriving. I flourished during that time, but I didn't realize it until after the plague was over that I flourished. And so I found it really interesting to reflect on it. Flourishing in the time of the plague is, I think, the working title of it.
I was going to say, that's got to be the title if it's not already. Now, do you mind if we talk about the recent adventure, the physical adventure that you went through?
Yeah.
Because you had a quintuple heart surgery, is that?
I have a genetic disorder that my body produces more cholesterol than the average hamburger. 7-8 times more, I believe. 7-8 times more, I believe, than that. And so for the last 6 years, my body has been decaying.
Wow.
Unknown to me until about a year ago. And then I was leaving for an art residency in Mexico. And managed to get a really important medical procedure that basically bought everything that said two arteries have fully collapsed, and I have one that's holding at 60%. And so I was told that if I didn't start my medical journey early, I would have had 3 to 6 months to have lived. And so I feel very lucky to be at that time crafting, and at that time sharing and being surrounded by great people and great community. And so it really highlighted the importance of what's around me in life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, what legacy you're going to leave. And I was able to, I would say, it's weird, I was able to thrive from it.
Interesting.
Yeah. It boiled down to things that were really important in my life.
Thriving during the plague and thriving.
Jeez. Yeah. Basically, I meant the surgery went as best as they could.
Okay.
Which was shocking to go in. I went in to get 4 arteries replaced, and they gave me a quintuple. Wow. The day I came out, I was walking of surgery, and 3 months after the surgery was completed, I was only allowed to walk 5 minutes a day as I started, but increased to 1 minute a day. And within 3 months, I increased it to about 2.5 hours of walking a day.
That's incredible, Jeff.
Yeah, I was great. You know, going from bedridden to basically crying just to get up to go to the bathroom, screaming in pain at 5 a.m. to all of a sudden that pain, all of a sudden that being able to do that. My writing was completely gone. Reading was completely gone. I couldn't watch TV. You know, I could barely talk. My memory is still hazy from the meds that I'm still on. And, you know, I built up such a good walking and healthy practice surrounded by great people that 3 months in, I picked up and went on a pilgrimage.
Okay, so I want to hear about the pilgrimage.
Yeah.
But it sounds like the healing that happened before the pilgrimage was also a pilgrimage in a way, and maybe one that you're still on. And as we've already talked about, there are different stages to the creative process. There's the experience, there's the writing of the experience, there's the digesting of the writing, there's the editing. Did you ever, when you were in the really intense, the beginning of your healing process, did you ever think, oh, I'm living a story right now that I'm going to write one day?
I did feel that way, and I did try to start writing it. Failed horribly. I was in it, and there was too much pain, there was too much confusion. You know, did my body betray me? you know, like what do I do? So there was no way to. I had ambitions. I bought the pen set. I knew where I bought the things so I can write on. I was going to do the Kanye Through the Wire. I was using that as inspiration to do that. We read about Beethoven. I read about all these amazing people that through physical adversity would be able to write. And I thought, given the resiliency, given all the flourishing during the plague, I'd be one of those. Didn't happen. It did not happen at all. I had a list of books to read. I couldn't do that. There was so much that I couldn't do. So I focused on the things that I could do.
Oh, good for you.
Which was walking and just writing short letters to thank you to people.
It's almost unfair. I mean, the amount of suffering you were already going through, there's probably this whole other suffering where you couldn't do the things you thought you'd be able to do.
I have a theory as an artist that if you don't create art, you destroy. And I was focusing on the things that I could create at that moment.
Of course.
Because I was scared of the things. Would I be able to ever write again? You know, would I be able to enjoy films and that again? So it was a struggle. It was a struggle. You know. This
is not exactly the same thing at all. But I remember when my son first came into the world. Everyone had told me, oh, this takes up all your time, and I thought, okay, well, I still need to be able to write songs, and so I would be bouncing them like this, and I had this whole setup where I had a couple different recorders around the house, voice recorders where I could go and hit record if I was in the kitchen or here, and I had this whole system set up, and then I'd like, you don't know what you don't know, right? And I hadn't thought about the extreme sleep deprivation, the just like being at the end of your rope all the time, and just the things that you don't know are going to be part of the experience. And in the end, it just helps to know, and this is the question back to you again, is just those moments of suffering, not saying that fatherhood was a point of suffering at all, but is suffering lessened by the change of perspective that you need to take when thinking of your life as a story? Does it give you just a hair of distance from the suffering? Yeah,
I feel like I would say everyone's suffering is different, but we're all human, and the suffering that you went through as an artist, I feel like is the suffering that you, well, I hope they edit this out. I'll start over again. I feel like the suffering that as an artist that we struggle with is challenging because we don't know how to put it into the format or medium that we know.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like you wanted to record because you knew that was going to be one of your outlets.
Yep.
I wanted to write because I knew that was going to be one of my outlets.
Yeah.
But the brain plays tricks on you.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, okay, I'll try something else. Yeah. And then you pick up something else.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's pretty amazing that you're like, oh, I've poured this energy into my kid at least.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
and that's
100%.
worked out. And for me, I poured it into walking, into just sitting there. Mm-hmm. My word for 2025 was slow. And so that word went to 2026 and I learned what being slow is. Yeah. And slow moved on to now. Mm-hmm. And I'm very slow in the way I approach things and have more purpose and have more meaning. When I sit down to write, it's with intention now. That's right. And so much gratitude that I can do it. I have so much gratitude that I have the ability to write because a year ago, not 7 months ago, I didn't think I would have that ability again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, myself and everyone around you, so grateful that everything went as well as it did, and that you're here writing stories, and sharing your art.
Yeah.
So after this event, you went to Italy?
Yeah. So I feel very blessed. I think I have one of these lives that I can do this. Yeah. I set myself up before I went to the hospital saying I wanted to do like 3 major trips. And in the hospital I was like, oh, well that heavy one's off. And so I planned a trip where I could just walk through vineyards, walk 6 kilometers a day and drink some wine. Within doctor's limits, and of course any pasta within his limits, and just find myself again mentally in a space. And so I was very lucky and fortunate to go to Italy and do the Via Francigena, which is a 1,000-year-old pilgrimage.
Right.
And I walked from a town called Lucca to Rome.
Wow.
And normally it would take someone about 18 days to do this. Yeah. And it took me a month of walking because I would walk slow. 6 to 10K a day within that time period.
Yes.
Yeah. It was phenomenal for me to push my body and push my mind, to have support of my doctors and my group and I went and with the intention of writing. And in that case, I forced myself to write, like put the paper to the pen, and I was like, I have time, even if this is gibberish, just write gibberish. And so I just started writing out every day. Yeah, started writing out, and it started to come back to me.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
and I'm getting something from you right now that going slow. One of the benefits of going slow, combined with challenging oneself, is that you don't bypass the lessons that come from challenging yourself.
Yeah.
And it takes going slow paired with challenge to be able to look at it and go, what's going on here? And do you find that a lot of your writing and a lot of your travels are in one way or another an effort to discover more about who you are?
Yeah. They say at the end of your journey, returning home, you find out who you are.
Right.
And so when I came home from that trip, I got to reflect on my sick journey, being healthy, and the lessons I learned. And slow was one of them that I was still able to bring back there. Learning about food, learning about myself. And I feel like a completely different person than I did a year ago.
That's right.
Yeah. So.
And did your time in Italy and on that pilgrimage, did did it change the way that you write, or is it just new stories that you think that'll be coming out?
It's interesting you say that, because I actually don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like it's changed the way that I write. I write now with brevity in mind,
Right.
which is bizarre. Yeah.
It's almost like an edit while
Yeah.
you write.
And also think like a worldly view. Italy's a cultural power. And when they write stories or they create something, they create it for generations. And it's fascinating how stories are being told for generations, how art survives and thrives and flourish in those places. When you go to Naples and you see the museum and you look at these pieces, you think they're replicas, but they're not, and they're 3,000 years old.
Yeah.
And you're sitting and you're just like, oh, I can see this. And how does that story, I learned so much about the art behind that, the story behind that, and the passion behind that.
That's right.
And also, what was the intention? And so being surrounded by that for 2 months, I was able to feel very, very lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, when I was traveling through Europe, what stood out to me in a similar way was so much of the art that was created over multiple lifetimes too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And coming from, spending so much time in North America and then coming face to face with art that felt so important to those creating it or commissioning it, depending on, that it was okay that it wasn't done in a weekend. You know, it was okay if it wasn't done in a year or 10 years. It has to be done right, and it has there's a richness to it because of that.
Yeah, yeah.
And
you're
that's
going
the slow again.
And that's the slow again.
Slow.
Yeah, yeah. Which I found to be really helpful when I was going through the culture that was there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what would the art sound like today, or look like today in our culture, or in North American culture rather, that if artists just slowed down a bit, you know? It's because you mentioned TikTok earlier, and although you're crafting your slow work in such a way that it can be consumed in the same amount of time as a TikTok video, it's created over a great deal more time than someone spends on their TikTok video. You know?
Well, and I also think as well, like, probably that was a poor explanation of it, but it was like, your time is short.
Yeah.
I don't want you to be reading about this teacup that I have. I want you to get to the crux of the story, but what I learned from this story. So I'm really respecting the audience's time as well.
That's right.
And to me, that's really important. You're going to take the time to read my story. I want to give you the best story I can within minutes.
Yeah. Absolutely. Got it. Yeah.
And I'm not insulting your intelligence. A lot of the stories that come out really insult the audience's intelligence.
Yeah, that's right.
And are predictable in a way.
Yeah.
You know, and so I want to share something that will hopefully resonate with you on a deeper level.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Now, today, you haven't been a writer by trade or by profession.
Yeah.
Is that a goal of yours, and if so, are you worried what that might do to the craft?
No, I don't think so. I might not be a professional writer in that sentence, but I'm an educator, and an educator, I believe, are great storytellers. 100%. We take content every day, and we retool them and reshare them out to people. And we have to analyze, take apart, we have to amplify it, and the audience has to understand it and share that and apply that to their life.
Yeah.
And as a storyteller and as an educator, when I do that, that audience lets me know right away if it's worthwhile.
Yeah, that's right.
And so I feel I'm doing the same thing here with these stories that I'm crafting. And the audience will take it and they'll interpret it, as I said before, in any format they would like to.
Yeah.
And I'm just so interested to see how it comes back.
Yeah. I was thinking the other day about if I were to design a poetry workshop, for example, and say it was a week-long poetry workshop.
Yeah.
I got stuck on one piece that was, I feel certain in my bones that the best poetry is written by people who are living the poetry, And and that we'd have to spend 6 out of the 7 days, everyone going out and living life like a poem, like go live the material. So, and then on the 7th day is the day that we write the stuff down.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of your work and how important it is to live the work. And without that, I mean, especially obviously in the sense of a memoir, it really is, your life is the art. What is it about writing a series of memoirs that is, or what's the challenging part that most people don't know is challenging, that may not understand?
I think it's knowing when to stop.
Yeah.
You know, I was writing a story about myself and family, and it just impacted me. I'm sitting in a studio, and I just was like staring at the wall, and I realized that I needed to go back to therapy. I needed to take a break right from it. I was putting so much into it that stuff was bubbling up again, and I was like, this is the reason why I started writing. But you have to know when to stop writing into here.
That's right.
You know, spend time a little bit more into the world and go out, get away from it, and come back to it. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Do you think that this could be, like, I just have this vision of you. I know you want to find you may want to find an end to this particular piece of work and collection of works. Could it be something that just continues on?
I don't know. I mean, I hope so, even for myself, that I continue to write stories. Continue to write it for an audience. That might be a different way. Putting it into a different medium might be a different way.
Yeah.
But I never know. I might, after these 60, just paint the rest. Sing the rest, you know, or just walk the rest.
Totally.
You know, and just share them with people.
And that's the thing. Like, do you see that your future of writing will always be memoir based, or can you imagine yourself writing something that's, you know, purely fictional?
I have in a way taken breaks and written fictional works and done, you know, plays and films and I wrote a 6-part miniseries one time. No kidding. Yeah, and just all by hand, that one part in a book that I still keep. Yeah. And so even including the commercial breaks, I don't know what happened for a month. It was just insane that it just came out.
This sounds like a COVID project.
It was a plague project. Yeah, it was a plague project.
A plague project, yeah. For sure.
And I still liked the idea of it because it was just all personal for myself. Yeah. This is the first time that I was like, no, I really want to bring this out. I really want to bring this out to people.
Would you share another story?
I definitely will.
It'd be great, because we're almost out of time, but I'd love to get another story in if you're up for it.
Yeah. I don't know what to. This is really interesting. As I have stories. This book came on my pilgrimage with me, as you can see, and I just wrote a lot of notes in it with these ones. So I'm just gonna I'll pick the story that that made me start writing. Okay. The one in Kolkata. I always love a good bookend. Yes. So we started with that story. So we'll end with this story. I just want to warn people that the story did rattle me. It started this memoir. So feel free to stop if you don't want to hear it.
Yeah. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, take care of yourself. It is intense. So here's the disclaimer with that. It's called A Pulse. This morning, I'm helping dress patient wounds. Now, these aren't normal wounds. Most of the patients here have been rejected from hospitals and left outside. So their wounds are unique. Anything from a hole the size of your fist in a head to a foot that was so badly deformed and rotting that I pulled out garbage out of it with tweezers. I'm in Kolkata. It's summer, the air smells of disinfectant, and everyone is working in silence. While helping dress a patient, I notice another patient beside me looking wary. He's on a respirator and breathing slowly, his chest moving up and down. I put my hand on his head, say a silent prayer, and tell him I'll be back in a few minutes. Quarters are tight, so I sit on the edge of his bed, and continue helping his neighbor. After a few minutes, I turn around and I ask him, "Dadu, what can I do to help you?" No response. No eye movements, no breathing. I check his pulse. I cannot find it on his wrists or neck, and there is no air passing under his nose. Dadu died while I was helping somebody else, while I was sitting on the edge of his bed. I sit there for a few seconds, an eternity in total shock. I call over a nurse. She checks, and I close his eyes. It scares me to think that those eyes had life less than a few minutes ago, and now they're empty. Death itself doesn't scare me. Living does. Living and dying slowly alone. Alone, away from all my family, friends, and everything I spent a life building. This experience still rattles me. Is what I'm building today building to that farewell? How will my pulse go out?
Thank you for sharing that.
That's what I sat and wrote in Kolkata.
Yeah.
Going, how did I get myself here?
Yeah.
Why did I bring myself here?
This is the one with the teardrops on the page.
Yeah.
And the, wow.
Yeah.
What do you think about, does sadness inspire more or greater or deeper art than joy?
I can't speak for other people for their art. I could say for myself, it's that resiliency, that depth, that fear. You know, fear is a good motivator, that hope.
Yeah.
You know, I had a lot of fear in that moment of how will I die, being faced with it for the first time. I was, you know, a palliative nurse still, you know, in that way, but faced with it for the first time like that. But also that hope that, did I find myself here? And I hope that my future son would not find themselves, you know, here. And so that to me was, how do I show that resiliency in that moment? And that was to put it to paper.
Yeah.
Right. Some people might make a movie, some people might draw a picture. For me, it was putting it to paper so that other people could see from that moment.
That's brilliant. I had never thought of that. You know, there is the sadness and the suffering, but the act of writing about it itself is the resilience.
Yeah.
Is the resiliency. It's embedded in the act itself, because you found a place in yourself to actually do something about it. And even if that was just to tell the story, that is resilience.
Yeah. And fear and hope are very strong and powerful emotions. So you need to keep those in checks and balances.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's so common and sometimes easy to distract oneself from sadness rather than maybe not dive into the center of it, but look it in the eyes and see what it has to share.
Yeah. And one of the powerful things about writing this is that it's not about putting blame on a situation or a person. My stories are the opposite from that. It's it's my reaction to the story, and what could I have done better at that moment. And so that's what I've done to move on in my life from that moment. So there is no blame. You know, being sick, I've looked at it and I've gone, wow, I can't blame these things that have happened around me. What I can do is move on. How do I do it?
Yeah. Okay, just a couple more questions, and one of them, and this might actually be the last question, depending. Okay, we'll do two. I've got two. I really want to hear your answer to both.
Yeah.
But I will ask them in a just different order than I was originally intending. What is sacred to you? And I'd love to hear not necessarily what has been sacred to you. And if we could shrink the timeline a bit to what's sacred to you now.
I think I don't have a word. It's very difficult to describe it into a word, but I think I would say is like the earnesty of someone.
Mm-hmm.
That spark that you see them when you're walking beside and you have a conversation on a pilgrimage, or you meet someone, those true intentional moments that you have.
Mm-hmm.
That's really important to me because you don't get to see those very often. We live in such a black square. These black rectangles almost in a way dictate how we feel.
Yeah,
and so having these pure moments with people have been really, that to me is really important. And you don't get much of it, you get pockets of it. And I see that. And that's why I love being an artist. That's why I love teaching. You get these, people tell you right away if something is right or wrong. You know, and that's one of the joys of teaching kindergarten is the kids will tell you, no, teacher, that sucks. And I'm like, yeah, that does really suck.
They will not be held back.
And I love that honesty and that earnesty right there. And what are you going to do when you get that reaction from someone?
That's right.
How are you going to react? Are you going to be defensive, or are you going to be like, yeah, no, you're right. That was not great.
And that's great, because that's the other thing that kids at that age are so good at, is their BS meter is on point. Right?
Like
and
they don't have time for it.
No, and they will not accept anything less than authenticity. And they can feel it. So
And I hope that those authentic moments really grow. You know? And that's what I'm hoping to get on this.
I can feel that.
I
can also feel, like, maybe not with the kindergarten students, but I also know from my own life that to increase the chances of these moments of authentic connection or authentic sharing, you really do need to slow down for a minute. You know?
And process it. Someone shares something that's really important to you. I want to be able to have that time where I can sit back and go, wow, I got that moment with this person.
That's right.
And I don't know if I'm going to connect with it in a way. How am I going to use that moment? Is it going to be in a craft? Am I going to have a silence? What is it going to be?
I love that. And then also, you know, even if, and this is always it for some people, including myself at times, you're not always sure what's the right thing to say, or what's the right thing to do in any given moment. But to just be reassured that at least I was there for it. You know? At least I was present there with that other human being. Who knows what getting it right looks like in the end.
And who knows your impact?
Who knows? We all hope that we have impact, but who knows? But at least you were there for it. Now, if people want to see what's going on for JAM when the book comes out, you know, if they want to order a book at some point, I don't know if we got pre-orders going on, but how can they find out more?
Well, it's interesting because I'm not on social media for the book. I think I've done one post to friends about it, but the idea of it is that it will not be on social media. There will be no email lists. There are no ways to find it except for the one website that I have. If you sign up, you only get one message from it. There's no weekly marketing or anything like that. And there's no expectations once you buy it to have any further contact. It's up to you to decide how the story continues.
Why did that just feel like a collective exhale across the planet when you gave that?
So I only have a website so that I could have people do that, buy the book. So if you go to minutesofyearspast.com, you can buy the book. And I want to make it affordable to people, so there's an option just to buy the memoir itself. There's an option to buy the memoir and also get a story by email once a week if you like. And then there's an option to buy a bespoken copy that I hand make for you. We'll have a meeting. You'll tell me a little bit about you, and then a bespoken book will come to you, and then you get a story mailed to you once a week.
Oh, we'll love that. Mail, like
an actual paper? Mail once a year. That you can
great.
Add into the book.
Brilliant.
Okay. I want people to connect with the stories, but I also want to keep writing a little bit more, and so those 10 people will get more stories. In a different format.
Okay, well, sign me up. Thanks so much for doing this, Jam.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Well, thanks for having me. This has been great.
Appreciate your stories.
Yeah, I rarely do these things, so this has been fantastic to share more.
Well, thank you. Yeah. And thank you guys. Thanks for coming out. Look forward to connecting again. Until then, be well and be wild and see if you can have a few authentic moments with another human being.
Yeah.
And go check out Jam's work. Good night.
Yep. Good night, everyone.
Yeah, good night, good night, good night. And I'm going to go up around there and I'm going to shut off the live stream.
Okay.
Yeah. You can sit here and you can, look deep into the camera, or you can pretend that you're reading, or
just pretend that I'm reading. Yeah.